You feel me, cuz? You get what I'm saying? Guys, like studying abroad feels like a dream. A new country, better education, new lifestyle away from everyone, and better future, better promising future. Alright? What if I can tell you guys that some of those things, they're just fantasies? Not everything, but some of them. What if I can just tell you that sometimes it's just overrated and exaggerated in such crazy ways? What if I can tell you that these guys, they don't tell you the truth? Most of them. Okay, well, let me not call it the truth. The harsh truth. The tragic truth. They just hide things from you so that, when they come back from school, from the uni, they'll be looking cool, getting your girls. You know what I'm saying? Yeah? You know, um, brother Cham is back from the States, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But, those wannabes, they'll just. What if I can tell you that those wannabes, they're just crooks. They're just cowards. Most of them, they don't want to admit, they don't want to face the truth. They don't want to face reality as it is. I'm not saying everyone. Trust me, studying abroad, it could be one of the best decisions that you could ever make. Considering that you take the right steps and you did the right thing at the right time and you get the right opportunity at the right time and everything just in line. It's cool. But it's not everyone that will get to live that, cool lifestyle, driving those, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? They will come back from, you know, out of town trying to look cool to you guys, bragging, acting these crazy, behaviors, acting all tough and cool, dressing, dripping with those new iPhones, chilling with those MacBooks, 2025, 2026 MacBook. But is it the most important thing though? Is it what they went abroad for? Is it all they were expecting? Is it life? Is it what you would want? Is it what they wanted when they left the country? Or is it just something to cover up? Sometimes you need to look at these things, like a new iPhone. Okay, a new iPhone. How much did you buy? He was in China. It's cheap. A MacBook. He was in China, bro. It's very much cheap. Okay. So, let me tell you something, guys. Let me just give you a hint. I'm about to expose some of these guys. Let's take, for instance, personally, I wouldn't try to be me. Why? It's me. I am me. I will just be me. So be careful of those guys that will try to prove something, trying to look cool and, these things that I'm talking about. So imagine breaking up with your long-term partner for someone, cool dude, you know what I'm saying? You feel me, babe? Feel me, cuz? I'm chilling with the big dogs, you know what I'm saying? They popping some champagnes, you know what I'm saying? Damn. It's just said, guys. So let's look into these things and let's just get into it, okay? Guys, let me just tell you that you can only try to prove something that you are not. Don't be deceived, guys. And whenever you see someone coming abroad, just look at the real deal. What is the person doing? He just came back, an iPhone and a MacBook. What else? Nothing. So is this what you wanted? What you want if you go abroad? Is this what parents expected when they send their child abroad? Of course, not. Big not. So, guys, let's get into it. Okay, so what are some of the most important things that we have to look into? Like, any opportunity just pop up, just realize there's this cool opportunity abroad and you want to look into it. What are the first things you have to consider? Be it a scholarship, be it a cheap college or university, or you got a scholarship, or even you didn't get a scholarship, but you're going to stay with your relative or anyone, a cousin, anyone you're related to. Alright? So, what are the things that you'll need to look into before you make any decisions, before you start on with the visa processes, before you can do anything at all? So, firstly, let's look at, you got a scholarship, right? You got a scholarship, you don't have any relatives staying abroad, you're just gonna be you. Let's see what are the things that you need to look into before you say this is the right decision, this is what I'm going to be doing. Of course, you have to look at your family income, your yearly family income. So, are they going to sustain you? Are they going to take care of all your needs? Of course, not once. They're not gonna buy you a Lambo, they're not gonna buy you anything fancy, just the needs, the basic needs. The rent increase, the inflation, be it in your country, be it in the country that you're going to be studying, the medical bills, and etc. It could be a lot of stuff that you could consider, considering what program you're going to be doing and where you are going to study. Imagine living in a family struggling with loans, maybe credits from family members, from friends. Imagine you live a family and on this generational debt that it will take them like 30 years to cover. Okay, it could be cool. It can be cool if this is the right decision, right country, and on proper procedures. It can be cool. It can be something that is actually a very important or the best decision that you could ever make in your life. Okay, imagine leave your family here to sell some land for you to just go abroad. Like, is it worth it? Okay, let's check for instance. You just get ill and you got into this emergency medical situation and you are ill and there's need of like 3K, 4K, or let's say just 1.2, 1.5 euros or pounds. Is your parents or is your family going to be able to afford it without them creating more debts or more loans for themselves? Of course, if you ask them, are you okay, guys? They're going to be telling you like, we're okay, son, everything's good. But is it what's really on the ground? Can you really sacrifice to go study abroad 4, 5, 6, or 7 years, I don't know, just to put your parents in a generational debt that you're not going to cover yourself even after you work like 5, 6 years? Is it really worth it? It's not. Of course it's not. So it's something that is very important. I'm not discouraging you guys to go abroad. Trust me. I said it and I'll say it again. It could be, it can be one of the best decisions that you can make in your life. But it could be one of the worst. So you have to be careful. Trust me. There's a lot of things that you can do in your country. You can start locally. You can do a lot of things. You can start a business. You can get to know the system of your country. Some of these guys, they go, they get the best education, they come, they start from zero, trying to establish themselves in the new environment, start to get some links, some connections. Of course, they'll be having some cool international connections, but for the connections to be connecting, you need to have some it is what it is, man. You need some cash. And for most African parents, if you ask them for money for starting a business, they won't give you. They'll ask you to go get a work, get some job. Why are you stressing us? We gave you money, we provided for you. You went to this best college, but It's just a college. I came with a degree. I even came with a first class degree. What do you want me to do? I did what you asked me to do. Now I'm asking you for capital to start a business. And most of them, it will be a big no. Trust me. I know most people that, local, at the church gatherings, even communicating with them, you will see that this guy is this kind of understanding and in a way of thinking that is even different from other guys, local guys. But is it though that matters though? The mindset. Having all those ideas stuck in your mind and you can put them on the ground. So advice for parents, if you have your child, even if they go abroad, they come back with a degree, is just a piece of paper and knowledge in their head. They acquired it. They did well. But what's the next step? Becoming rich, becoming successful, it requires a different strategy. You have to give them some capital, you have to give them a push and see what they can do in the real world. With a degree, now they've acquired, they know how to communicate, they know how to, they know a lot of things that they can use in the real world. Just give them something to start, something of their own, working some nowadays. I don't think it's just something for long back in 1990s, looking for work and all those things. I don't think now you can actually say, want to look for work and I want to work for somebody. Maybe for 1-2 years, then after that, if your family is that, low income type of thing, but if your family is earning like better or is earning on some stable income type of thing, then as a parent, I advise you, even when your child is still in university or be it college, you have to give them something to do. So that they'll be, as much as they'll be gaining knowledge, they'll also be acquiring something, and they'll also be gaining some real skills in the real world. They'll also be getting some real lessons, some real life lessons. It's very important to actually learn academically and learn realistically. Should I say realistically? Is it so? I don't know, but it's very important. So, just in case, guys, if you're a parent, if you're a student, if you're anyone, I think this message is for you. So just make sure you guys, you subscribe, you like, you share, and don't forget to comment, guys. I need your views, and so that we can keep this channel going. And people, they have to know, they have to learn. And I'm a guy, guys, I always go at your back. Look at this. So let's look at some most important thing that you should do in terms of the country that you want to go. Okay, be it what way, wheresoever abroad, you have to look at the rate of unemployment. Not just for everyone. Okay, you can just look overall the rate of unemployment in that country, right? Then the rate of employment of foreign students or foreigners. Sometimes it's different. A country can manage to offer the work and jobs for local citizens, but for externals, you need to have some real qualifications for you to be able to get a job. So you need to look into those things and get deep in those lines and see which is very much important. And most importantly, the economic and the political structure of the country. Imagine someone who went to Ukraine a year or 2 or even 3 before the war. Imagine you went 3 years down the line and the war just started, and now that means that your future, it has to be still. You can leave the country, you can't go to school, you can study. Imagine 5 years wasted, 5 years you're just there. Or if you don't even die, or maybe you can just become At least you can earn something from it. But is it really what your parents expected? You to be a soldier? Is it what you wanted? To go in a country, then 2, 3 years later, there's a war just erupted and you're just caught in the middle. You can't leave, you can't do anything. So it's something that you should consider, how the economical and the political structures of the country that you are going to be studying in. See, it's very much important. And most importantly, guys, you have to look if the university that you're going to be studying at is accredited. This one is very important, trust me. Imagine you start 4 years and then you got a degree. You wanna look for a job everywhere in the world and they don't recognize that university. So you have to do your researches and make sure the university that you're going to be studying on is very much accredited. And just look and just do your research and make sure you dig deep into this, especially on this one, because it's very important. Yeah, you got a degree, but is it going to be working? Is it going to be worth having that degree? And other things, last but not least, the environment. Is it safe for people like you? Is it the environment that you can actually survive and stay in for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years and feel safe and feel comfortable? Emotional stress, and it's something that is, is it mental health? Yeah, mental health is something that is really important. So you need to look into those things and make sure everything is just in the pipeline. So with all this being said, let's look at those factors that I said earlier on. Okay, be it scholarship, you're going to start under scholarship scheme, or it's cheap university, or you're going to be studying in either cases, cheap university or good university, but with a relative. So it's 3 cases, right? So let's first look into a scholarship. You're going to study abroad, it's going to be a scholarship, it's just going to be you and you alone in that country. Or maybe some friends, but that one don't matter, because you can't ask salt from someone who will be staying like 20 yards away, or just to be very much realistic with these things. Okay, so yeah, let's look at some of the things that you're going to be looking at. So firstly, some of the things that I said earlier on, your financial stability of your family is something that you should look into. Okay, and accreditation, I said it. When most parents hear the word scholarship, trust me, their brain or their mindset is just centered at everything free, visa free, passport free, flight free, accommodation free, tuition free. But it's not in all cases. Yeah, it can be like that. I don't know. I've never seen that kind of scholarship. But I can say there are some scholarship. It can be a 100% scholarship, 100% partial. I don't know if I'm correct on that one, but it shouldn't be 100%, but it's partial. It's a partial scholarship where it can just be 100% on accommodation, on tuition, or 100% covering tuition and accommodation. You see? So you have to look into those areas and see, okay, it's a 100% scholarship, but is it partial or is it a full scholarship? Is it going to cover everything, accommodation, food, So don't get relaxed and make sure you just know everything. Everything when it comes to the scholarship. What kind of a scholarship is it? What is it going to cover? And make sure you exclude what the scholarship is going to cover and see what you are going to cover, and make sure you just go to the bottom line and see if you can cover your part. Because the scholarship will always, if the scholarship is there, they're going to provide everything that they said they will. That's not a problem. The problem is you. Are you going to cover your part? Is it going to be something that is going to be easy for you to do, or is going to be the hardest thing that your parents could ever do in this world? So, guys, make sure you don't leave your families into this stresses, or you don't put yourself into these stressful situations, just make sure you consider everything. Okay, when I mean everything, guys, it could be like some things cannot always be 100%, trust me. So you have to take some hard routes, like, I would say. But overall, just make sure that it's the right thing and it's the right scholarship, so that at the end of the day you won't end up losing more than you should have lost, or you are not going to spend on something that is going to lead you into some shenanigans. I don't know, is it shenanigans? I don't know, these big words. Alright, so I hope you get what I'm saying, guys. So, and then secondly, let's say you have a cheap university or college. Okay, sometimes cheap or affordable doesn't mean worth it. You have to look, okay, why is it cheap? Why does it have to be cheap? Or for the universities and colleges, why is it have to be cheap? You have to be realistic with yourself, because it's not like an escape plan, like you just have to, now you are now in abroad and then life is just lifing, you are now, what I'm saying. It's not always like that. So you have to look into these things and make sure you consider everything: the university, the environment, everything. Okay, and there are all the other things that I mentioned earlier on. Okay, they can all apply on this situation also. Okay, in the last case, let's say you're going to stay with your relative. It could be on a full scholarship or partial, or on a cheap university, or I don't know, but you're just going to be staying with your cousin or your relative. Guys, this is very important. You don't want to put your son, your child, or your relative in a tough situation whereby you don't want your child to be a burden to your relative, and you don't want to give a burden to anyone, and no one wants to carry a burden for you. That's in most cases, okay? Then in some cases, right, it depends on the relationship that you have with the cousin, so, or your relative. So just make sure when you're sending your son or your child away, just make sure you're sending your child to someone deep down. Nowadays world are changing. It could be a she, or a he, she. You get what I'm saying, right? I know you know what I'm saying. Which is in this world is not a problem, but for you, for your child, is it something that he would want to? Is it the environment that your child would want to live in? Do you know what that person, or what your relative or your cousin does for a living? Of course, he's staying abroad. It's cool. Yeah, you can. That's at least that's cool. At least you won't have to spend more on some expenses. But is it worth it? Is it someone who will nurture your child, or who will give good advices to your child where necessary? Or is someone who is going to take your child from this, good, chill child like me, and turn him into this, I've seen many people. If you ask many people, okay, I would do a street quiz once in a while. I have to ask this question: do you think that you are the same person that you were before you left home? You see, 9 times out of 10, most people change. And imagine there's someone who is facilitating in that area, who is making sure that your child is actually changing and is living up to the standard that that person is living. And that standard of living of the person is somehow, is not the right standard. So you wouldn't want to put your child in those kind of situations. So I advise you, just make sure, just do some deep researches about the person that is going to be staying with your child, And if necessary, just make sure it's someone who is very, very, very close to you, so that you won't give the person some burden, and you won't put your child in a situation that they would not want to live in, and the environment won't be comfortable for them. You see? So it's something that is very, very much important. For me, honestly, I would advise, if you have a relative or someone close to you, you can just send your child. Send your child, you won't have to take some of the burdens, like the parental burdens, and some, there's some stress that are somehow associated with, just having to take care of the bills, everything for yourself. It can be a bit stressful sometimes, but sometimes it's good. You have to know how to manage your life from this to this, how to get through some situations, so sometimes it's good, right? But I would advise, if you have someone close, it's something that is very much advisable. But you have to do some digging, and make sure the person, there can be ups and downs, and that person is going to be there for your child. Okay, so let's move on to the next chapter. I know, trust me. I know you want to thank me. I know, trust me, guys. I'm all here for you, and I can do this all day. Just make sure you leave a comment, you subscribe, you like, you share to your loved ones. You wouldn't want anyone that you like, that you are very close to be in any of these situations. So just make sure you share this video to anyone close to you, or anyone who has high hopes of studying abroad in time, so that they could learn, and I'm sure they can learn something from this video. So just make sure you do any of those things, guys. I just want to thank you for watching this video. Just watch out for the next video, and for the next video, in maybe on the third or after the third or fourth video, we're hoping on doing a podcast, so that you guys cannot just listen to me and hear my thoughts. You can actually get to experience and hear these things from some of the people that have seen some of them, or somehow experience some of these things, and know some of these things. So I'll be inviting some people along on the podcast. So just make sure you are tuned in, and you give me some support, guys. I know you love this show. In the time being, just leave a comment. Just make sure you leave a comment. Just say, Franklin, just change on this, and this. Just do this and this and this. Okay, what about this and this? I'm open to those comments, guys. And even if you think it's a bad comment, for me it's not. You see, we learn from those mistakes. So just point out any mistake, anything that you want us to improve, and we are ready to do those things just for you guys. Thank you for your love and for your support. Please like, share, comment,